Today in Algebra 1, in Chapter 2, Section 5, we are going to look at applying the distributive property. The distributive property is exactly what it says. We are going to distribute something. Okay, in this first example, we have 4 times the quantity of y plus 3. Now remember, when I say the quantity of, that means there's going to be a group of numbers and variables in a set of parentheses. So we have 4 times the quantity of y plus 3. The 4 is outside the parentheses, so it must be distributed to everything on the inside of the parentheses. When you distribute a number or a variable, that means you are going to multiply it by every single term that is inside that set of parentheses. So let's take a look. We're going to distribute the 4 to the y, and then we are going to distribute the 4 to the 3. So that means we're multiplying that 4 by it. So 4 times y is 4y. Then you have plus 4 times 3 is 12. So 4 times the quantity of y plus 3 is equivalent to 4y plus 12. Let's try again. Let's look at another one. We are going to distribute this n that's outside the parentheses. So you have n times the quantity of n minus 9. We distribute the n to n. N times n is n squared minus n times 9 is 9n. So you have equivalent expressions. Now let's see what happens when what you're going to distribute is not on the left side of your quantity, but it is on the right side of your quantity. The quantity of y plus 7 times y. Well, you do the same thing. You're just going to go like this. Y times y is y squared, and 7 times y is 7y. It's the same thing. You're just going from the right to the left instead of the left to the right. So the quantity of 2 minus n times 8. So we have 8 times 2 is 16 minus 8 times n is 8n. Let's get a little vocabulary in on this lesson. If we have this expression 3x minus 4 minus 6x plus 2, and it asks how many terms are here. Well, what is a term? A term is separated by plus and minus signs. So how many terms do we have here? Well, we have 3x is one term, negative 4 is another term, negative 6x is another term, and positive 2 is another term. So right now we have 4 terms, 3x, negative 4, negative 6x, and 2. Those are all terms. Okay, the second word that we would like to look at is constant terms. The word constant means it's not going to change. So we have 2 constant terms here, negative 4 and positive 2. They're constant terms because negative 4 is going to be negative 4 no matter what, and 2 is going to be 2. Constant terms do not include any variables. They are just going to be numbers that are constant. Like terms. Like terms have exactly the same variable with exactly the same exponent. So let's start with 3x. 3x is a like term with negative 6x. So 3x is like with negative 6x. They are alike because they have the same variable with the same exponent. Okay, the other like terms are the 2 constants, which would be negative 4 with positive 2. Those are constants, and constants are like terms. So you have negative 4 and 2 are also like terms. Now we're going to look at coefficients. A coefficient is a number that precedes a variable. Precedes means comes in front of. So we only have 2 terms here that have variables. They are 3x and negative 6x. Okay, so the coefficient in 3x, the coefficient is just the 3. Okay, it is only the number in front of the variable. We also have negative 6x. And so the coefficient there is negative 6. So the coefficient is a number that precedes a variable, that is multiplied by a variable. It does not include the variable. It is only the number that precedes it. That might be great to know for a quiz. Now let's take and apply what we did on the first two slides to this third slide. Here we have a 5 times the quantity of n plus 7 minus 4 times the quantity of 3 plus n. So that means we have two things that need to be distributed. The 5 needs to be distributed to this n and to this 7, and then we have negative 4 that needs to be applied to the 3 and to the n. So we have two steps that we need to do here. Let's apply the 5 first. Let's distribute that 5. So you have 5 times n is 5n. And then you have plus 5 times 7 is 35. So we've distributed 5 through the first set of parentheses. Now we need to distribute the negative 4 through the second set of parentheses. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And then you have negative 4 times positive n. A negative times a positive is a negative 4n. Okay, so there's the first step. We distributed each one of those numbers through each of those quantities. Now we are going to apply the vocabulary that we just learned. We need to combine like terms. We're going to start with our first term right here, 5n. What is like 5n? Well, minus 4n. They both have the variable n. So we can combine those. 5n minus 4n is 1n. Okay, now let's go to our next term. Okay, positive 35 minus 12. We can put those together because they are both constant. So you have 35 minus 12 is plus 23. So now we have combined like terms. Okay, we took 5n minus 4n and put our coefficients together. 5 minus 4 are the coefficients, and we got 1n. And then we combined our constants, 35 minus 12, and got 23. Okay, so we have used the distributive property to write an equivalent expression. So 1n plus 23 is much easier to deal with than the original expression of 5 times the quantity of n plus 7 minus 4 times the quantity of 3 plus n. It's much easier to deal with, although it is the same thing. They are equivalent expressions. Let's take a look at two more examples of the distributive property in combining like terms. In this first expression, we have 15 minus the quantity of t minus 4. In this case, we have to know that this is an implied 1 right here, a negative 1. So all we can do with this 15 is bring it straight down. Now we would be distributing a negative 1, or you can just say distributing the negative sign. So negative 1 times t is minus t. And then you would have a negative times a negative is a positive 4. Now we need to combine like terms. If we start with 15, its like term is 4. 15 plus 4 is 19. And then you have minus t because there are no other terms to combine with it. So 15 minus the quantity of t minus 4 is an equivalent expression to 19 minus t. Equivalent expressions. Now let's look at the quantity 3y times the quantity of y minus 6. We need to distribute this 3y to each term inside the set of parentheses. So we have 3y times y, so that is 3, and y times y is y squared. Now we have minus 3y times 6. 3 times 6 is 18, and then you have the y. So the quantity of 3y times the quantity of y minus 6 is an equivalent expression to 3y squared minus 18y. They have the same value, they are just written differently. The last example that we are going to look at is the quantity of s minus 3 times negative 2 plus 17s. Remember, what you are distributing can be on the left side of your quantity or it can be on the right side of your quantity. In this case, the negative 2 is on the right side and it needs to be distributed to the two terms on the inside of your quantity. So you have negative 2 times s is negative 2s. Now you have negative 2 times negative 3 and you're going to get a positive 6. And we will bring plus 17s straight down. Now we are going to combine like terms. Negative 2s is like positive 17s because they both have s as a variable. Negative 2 plus 17 is 15s. Okay, and then we have another term left that we have not yet used, which is plus 6. So this has two terms, one that has the variable 15s with it, and the other term is 6. Okay, these are not like terms because the 6 does not have the variable s, and the term 15s does have the variable s. Okay, last time, what you are distributing can be either on the left side of your quantity or on the right side of your quantity. It doesn't make any difference. You just have to recognize it has to be distributed either direction.